What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to look at all the non-creatures in the Grand Star Alliance in Worlds Collide. We looked at all the creatures yesterday. I apologise, I tried to get this video up yesterday. I mean, pregnant wife, baby due today. Baby's not here, unless I have to cut this video and run to the hospital, in which case baby is here, but as I record, baby not here. But I've also been an extremely busy chap, so my apologies, but we are here now, and there are 35 non-creatures of the Grand Star Alliance, so we're going to have to go just a little bit quicker through this video than we have through some of the others, though going through all the blasters will save us some time at the end. We will go in set order as we always do, and we'll start off with Cloaking Dongle, an upgrade that gives you an amber bonus, and this creature and each of its neighbours gain elusive. That is to say, the first time you are attacked each turn, nothing happens. Your opponent has to attack you to, as I like to phrase it, break the elusive. Nothing happens, and then the second attack will go through like normal. Having that on 3 creatures, good. Light of the Archons is another upgrade that gives you an amber bonus, and this creature gets +1 power and +1 armor for each upgrade attached to it. This could be an awful lot of fun. Now, I did tell you in yesterday's video about Chief Engineer Wolves, who when you play Fight or Reap does return an upgrade or a robot card from your discard pile to your hand. Relevance here, of course, being that robots can be attached as upgrades instead of being played as creatures, though they can also be played as creatures. So there is a combo here where all of a sudden you've got 3 or 4 upgrades on, and you've got +3 or 4 power and +3 or 4 armor, and you're incredibly difficult to take down. Interesting and important to note, it says for each upgrade, not each other upgrade. That is to say that Light of the Archons should count as an upgrade here, so at the very minimum, +1 power, +1 armor, and an amber bonus. I'll take it. Now, MOLINA'S blaster doesn't really count like the others, because it's not a special rare, but it is still a very good card, and it still looks like a lot of the other blasters. Gives you an amber bonus, and when you fight or reap with the creature to which it is attached, you may either deal 2 damage to a creature, or attach it to Arms Master MOLINA. It is MOLINA'S blaster after all. After you attach it to Arms Master MOLINA, you may deal 3 damage to a creature. So either you deal 2 damage to a creature, or you attach it to Arms Master MOLINA and deal 3, and then MOLINA does 2 every time you fight or reap. Of course, upgrades don't get exhausted in the same way that creatures and artifacts do, so the pro move here is to attach it to Arms Master MOLINA to deal 3 damage, then fight or reap with Arms Master MOLINA to do another 2 damage. Red Alert is an action card, and when you play it, if there are more enemy creatures than friendly creatures, deal damage to each enemy creature equal to the difference. So essentially here, the goal is that you grab this, and this is a perfect candidate for being archived. Stash it in your archive, grab it out when your opponent's got, say, 5 creatures and you've got none, and then you play it. Oh, my opponent's got 5 creatures more than me. I can deal 5 damage to each creature. Okay, it doesn't have an amber bonus. There'll be plenty of times it doesn't do very much, but there's also going to be plenty of times that it definitely does. And then you just get to sit there and do a lot of damage, and it's not an Omega card, so you can do this and then play all of your creatures. That's very good. Stealth Mode is a card where I love the art, but I also love the card. Gives you an amber bonus, and it reads, your opponent cannot play action cards during their next turn. It is Scrambler Storm. It is literally a Grand Star Alliance version of Scrambler Storm. Cool. It's a really nice card. It's a card that we like very much indeed. It stops your opponent being able to play actions next turn. It's brilliant. And it gives you an amber bonus. We like it. And the artwork's amazing. Zap is an action card with an amber bonus, and you deal 1 damage to a creature for each house represented among creatures in play. So normally here we're really talking a maximum of 6. That is if you and your opponent are playing 3 different houses and you've each got a creature down from each of your houses. Not guaranteed, not by a long shot, but still kind of cool. This is one of those cards that is going to be better in Archon than it is in Sealed, because in Sealed everyone's playing Worlds Collide, there are only 7 possible houses. In Archon you can use any of the 3 sets, there are 9 possible houses, and therefore it is more likely that you will find 6 different houses represented. This could do a lot of damage, but it could also do very little. Force Field gives you an amber bonus, and it's an upgrade that gives this creature Reap, ward a creature, which is anyone, yours, your opponent, this creature, another creature, Grand Star Alliance, non-Grand Star Alliance. When you Reap, you ward anything, and you get an amber bonus. And warding's amazing. Warding, you put a ward counter on a creature, and then if it would be destroyed or removed from play, you take, or damaged, you take away the ward counter, and the creature stays there ready. Really nice to give one of your creatures protection. Lay of the Land gives you an amber bonus, and reads, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put them back in any order, draw a card. I love this. I absolutely love this. Now, firstly, there's a great combo here with Helmsman Spears. Helmsman Spears, you can discard as many cards from your hand as you like and then draw that many cards. This at least will tell you the top 2 cards you'll be drawing, gives you more information from which to make a decision. However, what this also does is just let you take the best of the top 3 cards of your deck. Cool. Quadracorder is an upgrade. There are more upgrades in the Grand Star Alliance than we are used to having in houses. You've probably noticed that already. Quadracorder is an upgrade, and it says that your opponent's keys cost +1 amber for each house represented among friendly creatures to a maximum of 3. So it's one of those things, again, where it really, and we see this a bit in the Grand Star Alliance, it is one of the themes, whereby it depends what's on the board. Best case scenario here, your opponent's keys cost +3. Worst case scenario here, your opponent's keys cost +1. If you have no creatures, you cannot attach Quadracorder to anything, so you've got to have at least one house represented. It still makes your opponent's keys cost more, it's still very nice in that situation, but honestly here, Censor Chief Garcia is just a better option for making your opponent's keys cost more amber, because when you play or fight or reap, it increases it by 2. But there's nothing to stop you whacking a Quadracorder on it. QUINTRINO FLUX, another card with rather phenomenal artwork. When you play it, you choose a friendly creature and an enemy creature, and you destroy the chosen creatures and each creature with the same power as either of the chosen creatures. So you can choose a 2-power creature of yours and a 4-power creature of your opponent's, and every 2 and 4-power creature of yourselves and of your opponents all go down. Like a double master of whatever card, but you get to decide what the number is. It's a very awkward card. It's a very weird one. It's not very easy to actually use. And there's going to be plenty of times where it doesn't work out very well because you've got to destroy a creature that you don't want to. Because the other thing is, let's say your opponent only has 3-power creatures. It doesn't say you may, it says choose. So you have to choose your opponent's 3-power creature, which means that if you've got a 3-power creature on your side of the board, it has to go away. Simple as that. Stunner is another upgrade. There are a lot. Gives you an amber bonus, and this creature gains fight or reap. You may stun a creature. Now, the good news is it is May. Now, that's especially important. If your opponent's got no creatures and you reap, you do not want to be forced to stun one of your own creatures. It's fine. Stunning is annoying, don't get me wrong, and the amber bonus is nice, but it's not a brilliantly inspiring card. It's not one of those cards you look at and go, yeah! It's useful, it will hurt your opponent, it gives you an amber, but there's nothing terribly inspiring about it. Transporter Platform is an artifact that gives you an amber bonus, and it's got an action return a friendly creature and each upgrade attached to it to your hand. Now this I love very much indeed. The real goal here is to find yourself a creature with a lovely playability, play it down with a playability, but hopefully you've got lots of upgrades on it. And you've seen that the majority of the upgrades, not all of them, but the majority of the ones we've seen have got amber bonuses. This allows you to play the upgrades again to re-grab the amber bonuses. I mean, if you can get, say, 4 upgrades on, and if Light of the Archons is one of them, that's amazing, you can then pick them all up with Transporter Platform, play them back down again, and get another 3 or 4 amber from getting the bonus again. But the great thing is that this is just an action, it's an every turn thing. So you put your opponent in a situation where they have to go after the creature with all the upgrades on, or you're going to be getting 3, 4, 5 extra amber a turn, and that's phenomenal. Of course, make no mistake about it, if you put 5 upgrades on one creature and you've got Transporter Platform out, especially if one of them is Light of the Archons, your opponent will be targeting that creature. Although if you've got like 5 power extra and plus 5 armor, probably fair to say that they're going to be hard to take down. Universal Translator is an upgrade with an amber bonus, and this creature gains Fight or Reap. Use a friendly non-Star Alliance creature. Oh, lovely. We like the amber bonus. We like the house cheating. It lets you use a non-Star Alliance creature. And when we looked at the creatures yesterday, I'll let you check that video out. I'll pop a link in the description. We saw that there were a bunch of different ways that we can use non-Star Alliance creatures. There's basically just a bunch of options for house cheating in the Grand Star Alliance, and that's really cool. It really does give you extra options. You know, take CXO Tabor as an example. When you fight or reap, you may play or use one non-Star Alliance card this turn. It just means that you're not limited to only using the Grand Star Alliance. I'm happy to go on record now and say that I think there are going to be plenty of Grand Star Alliance decks with so much house cheating they give you a phenomenal advantage. Oh, I've only got Amber Control in one house. Oh, but Grand Star Alliance lets me use all those cards outside of my house turn. Yeah, that's pretty good. XENOTRAINING is an action card that gives you an amber bonus, and for each house represented among friendly creatures, a friendly creature captures 1 amber. So at the worst you capture 1 amber, at the best you capture 3. Capturing is good, it takes amber away from your opponent, but it does mean that if your opponent destroys or otherwise removes that creature from the field, that they then get the amber back. But you at least take it for a while. Even if you take it this turn and your opponent gets it right back next turn, there's still that one turn where they're unable to forge a key at the beginning of their turn. It's nice. Although like a bunch of these cards, it does depend how many different houses worth of creatures you've got in play. Book of Le Q is an action card, and it allows you to reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a non-Star Alliance card, its house becomes your active house. Otherwise, end your turn. Now, this is extremely risky. When it says end your turn, I believe, and I know a lot of people have agreed with me on this, because there was a discussion when this card was first seen. I believe it means end your turn now. That is to say, you do not ready your creatures at the end of your turn. You do not draw until you've got 6 cards in your hand. Once again, we've got house cheating and really good house cheating. On the other hand, you can end up ending your turn without readying your creatures or drawing till 6, which is horrendous. But we have a couple of cards here. If you're desperate, Book of Le Q is great. If you look and you calculate that there are only 4 cards left in your deck, and none of your Star Alliance cards are still in your deck, I mean, look at your hand, look at your discard, look at your field. You can tell how many Star Alliance cards are left in your deck, and you can tell your chances of hitting one. If there's 1 Star Alliance card in 10, you've got a 10% chance. If there's none in 8, you will not hit one. You cannot afford to hit a Star Alliance card. It will end your turn. But the thing is, you then get a new active house. So when I say house cheating, I'm not talking about, ooh, I get an extra card. No, no, no. If you've got 4 Shadows cards in hand, you can basically go, oh, I'm now Shadows. Cool. And then you get to play all your Shadows cards. You basically get 2 houses worth of turns. Huge downside, huge upside. And as far as I'm concerned, you play this with Lay of the Land or Navigator Alley. Lay of the Land lets you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put them back in any order and draw a card, so you know what the top card of your deck is, and unless all of the top 3 cards of your deck are Star Alliance, you can fix it so you don't have a Star Alliance card on top. And Navigator Alley, when you play Fight or Reap, you get to look at and reorder the top 3 cards of your deck. So again, unless all 3 top cards of your deck are Star Alliance, you will not hit one. That's how you use Book of LeQ. Huge upside, huge downside. Disruption Field gives you an amber bonus, and your opponent's keys cost +1 amber for each disruption counter on Disruption Field. What was a disruption counter? Well, this creature gains Fight or Reap. Put a disruption counter on Disruption Field. So it takes a few turns to really build up, but the thing is here, it's an upgrade, and upgrades do not go into play exhausted. So wait till you got a ready creature, attach it to your ready creature, get the amber bonus, then you reap or fight, and then your opponent's keys cost 1 more. And when you build this in with QUADRACORDER and Censor Chief Garcia, we've got a few options for increasing the cost of forging keys. Encounter Suit is an upgrade, and it reads, after an action card is played, but before it resolves, ward this creature. Now this was addressed in the FAQ, but basically it means if your opponent plays something like Throwing Stars, for instance, you would ward. Throwing Stars would do a little bit of damage, but after you put a ward counter on, so the ward counter would prevent that damage. That has to be the ruling, otherwise it's literally pointless. Forging an Alliance is an action card that gives you an amber bonus, and when you play it, you forge a key at +7 current cost, reduced by 1 to a maximum of 6 for each house represented among cards in play. Now once again, this depends on how many different houses are in play, but this is creatures and upgrades and artifacts. Best case scenario, there are 6 in play, and you forge at +1 current cost, so normally 7 amber. But this could actually come out when there's nothing in play. Let's say, for instance, the big one has just come out and blown up. At which point, well, then you're paying 13 to forge a key. And maybe that's all right. You know, that might not be the end of the world. That might be fine. Just be aware, all right? Just be aware. Galactic Census is an action card that gives you an amber bonus. Lots of amber bonuses on these cards. When you play it, if there are exactly 3 or 4 houses represented among creatures in play, gain an amber. If there are exactly 5, gain 2 amber. If there are 6 or more, gain 3 amber. Cool. I mean, look, worst case scenario, you get 1 amber because there's only 1 or 2 houses represented. But you could get 4 amber here. If you and your opponent both have all 3 houses represented among creatures in play, and you're playing different houses, that's 4 amber. That's better than Virtuous works. Now again, might not work. Might not come out, alright? But come on, that could be fun. That could be a lot of fun. I love it, ladies and gentlemen. I love it. Once again, better in Archon than Sealed, because more chance of getting different houses. General Order 24 is an artifact. At the start of each player's turn, they must choose a creature they control and destroy each creature of the chosen creature's house. If that player has no creatures in play, destroy General Order 44 instead. So it is a specialized board wipe for one of your houses every turn. Your turn, you choose a house, every creature of that house gets destroyed. And it is all creatures of that house, not all of yours, just all creatures, each creature. And then your opponent chooses a house they control. And then sooner or later, somebody has no creatures and General Order 24 goes away. Yeah, this is going to destroy a lot of creatures. Peace Accord is an artifact, and when you play it, each player gains 2 amber. And after a creature is used to fight, its controller loses 4 amber, and you destroy Peace Accord. I mean, thematically a brilliant card here. Both players get 2 amber, first one to fight loses 4. If you're against a house that loves fighting, Brobnar, this is going to be so much fun, because either you stop your opponent fighting when they want to, good for you, or your opponent loses 4 amber, good for you. Plasma Nozzle is an upgrade that gives you an amber bonus. Stop me if you've heard that before. And this creature gains before fight, deal 2 damage to the attacked creature with 2 damage splash. That's a lot of damage. You do 2 damage to the attacked creature before the fight, so if they're a 2-power creature, they're destroyed, the fight never happens. 2 damage splash means 2 damage to each of its neighbours. So you're getting 6 damage on the board, hopefully, unless they haven't got neighbours, or they've only got 1, before the fight even happens. It's kind of like Assault 2, but also to both of the neighbours. That's cool. QUIXLE Stone is an artifact that gives you an amber bonus, and if a player has more creatures in play than their opponent, they cannot play creatures. It's kind of like Heart of the Forest in a weird kind of way, but Heart of the Forest was for forging keys, and this is for playing creatures. It basically means that you can play creatures until you have 1 more, and then you got to stop. And then when your opponent has an even number or 1 more, you get to play again. Almost like you're taking it in turns. So you're allowed to play if there's an even number. As soon as you've got 1 more, your opponent can play 2. 1 till you're even, 1 till they've got 1 more. And then they've got to stop until you play at least 1 creature. And round we go. If you can find a deck that doesn't rely on creatures and play against a deck that does... Tachyon Pulse is an action card with an amber bonus, and when you play it, you destroy each artifact, and you exhaust each creature with an upgrade. This is very disruptive. I mean, firstly, right, you've got to have artifact take. Heart of the Forest, we mentioned a moment ago, great example. It can grind games down to a halt, and decks with Heart of the Forest and a key cheating card can basically come out here and go, look, you've got more keys forged than me, so you're not allowed to forge. I've got 1, you've got 2, you ain't allowed to forge. So I'm going to forge my 2nd key at the beginning of my turn, 3rd key during my turn, I win. And if you've got no artifact control against a Heart of the Forest key cheating deck, and they can manipulate the game well enough, they will win. This is a really nice option for trying to stop that. Now, it does also exhaust every creature with an upgrade. And remember that on the one hand, yay! On the other hand, this is a very upgrade-heavy house. You have been warned. Uncharted Land is another card with just phenomenal artwork. It is an artifact, and when you play it, you play 6 amber from the common supply on Uncharted Lands. Each Star Alliance creature gains Reap. Move 1 amber from Uncharted Lands to your pool. Now, if Uncharted Land goes away, that amber goes back to the common pool. But, I mean, imagine, right? You've got 6 Grand Star Alliance cards, creatures in play. And they're all ready. You play Uncharted Lands, put 6 amber on, reap with all 6 of your creatures, gain the regular 6 amber, and then 6 more amber. Yes. It's not going to happen all the time like that, but again, if you're playing against a deck that doesn't have any artifact control, this can be punishing. United Action is an alpha card, that is to say it must be the first thing you do on your turn. As soon as you have played a card, discarded a card, used a card, you can't do it. And when you play it for the remainder of the turn, you may play cards from any house for which you have a card in play. But you cannot use cards this turn. So i.e. you cannot use and then play this, nor can you put a card into play from a house and then go for this. It's more house cheating, and we've seen a lot of house cheating here, right? But this is brilliant, because if you've got all 3 houses in play, you can play every card in your hand. Or if you've got 2 houses in play, but you've only got those 2 houses in hand, again, you can just play your entire hand. You cannot use any cards in play, so it could backfire in that regard. But then again, maybe you don't have any cards you want to use anyway. Or, for instance, just to stop myself there, what if you don't have any Star Alliance cards in play anyway, so there weren't any cards you could have used? We could all win. Here's a card with an amber bonus, and each player's keys cost -2 until the end of your next turn. Think of it like having a Titan mechanic on each flank. This is another two-sided card that you've got to be very careful how you play it. Played correctly, you get cheap keys and win. Played badly, it goes badly. And the thing is that you've already gone past your chance to forge a key this turn, so your opponent will have the first chance to forge a key. Although, side note, you will still have a chance on your next turn before this card wears off. Now, obviously, if you've got a key cheating card, if you've got forging an alliance, or you're house cheating and using someone else's key cheating card, it's phenomenal. I mean, playing We Can All Win and then immediately dropping forging an alliance is great, but it could also help your opponent. Now, the cards remaining are blasters, and this is becoming a very long video. I have done a video about all of the blasters where I go through them in a lot more detail. We're going to run through the blasters very quickly, but I will link the blaster video in the description if you want to peruse them a bit more gently. They all give you an amber bonus, and they all say this creature gains fight or reap. You may deal 2 damage to a creature, or attach blank's blaster to blank. So Chan's blaster, you can attach it to Commander Chan, and if you do, you may use another friendly creature. Frane's blaster, you may move it to First Officer Frane, and move each amber from First Officer Frane to your pool. Garcia's blaster, you may move it to Garcia, Center Chief, and then steal an amber. Ingram's blaster, you may move it to Ingram, and then fully heal a creature. Kakar's blaster, you may move it to Kakar and then ward Lieutenant Kakar. Kirby's blaster, you may move it to Kirby and then draw 2 cards. Really like this one. King Kan's blaster, you may move it to King Kan and then archive a creature in play. And Wall's blaster, you may move it to Walls and stun a creature for each upgrade on Chief Engineer Walls. Lots of upgrades, lots of stunning. The blasters we did very quickly because they've had their own video. We can link you to that one. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is, other than the anomalies who have had their own videos, all of the cards from Worlds Collide. Wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. Wonderful. I am psyched about this set. It's a brilliant set, and I'd like to know your thoughts about it, especially the cards we're talking about here in terms of, hey, Star Alliance cards that aren't creatures. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy. That's where we talk about games. And do, like Keyforge, but a bunch of others. And do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, etc. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.